When the treaty was signed between Earth and the consortium of 17 species, both sides celebrated. Humanity had finally stepped out of its solar cradle and was welcomed, cautiously, into the galactic stage. Yet peace offerings had to be exchanged, symbols of trust. The Zirith, an ancient and biologically sophisticated species, offered something unusual: a sterile woman of their kind, bred for perfection but rendered incapable of bearing children. She was called Seraya, with pale, opalescent skin that shimmered like starlight and eyes that reflected entire constellations. To the Zirith, giving away a sterile woman meant little. She could never fulfill the highest duty of their females: to give life. To humans, however, it looked like a cruel, dismissive gesture, an empty gift. Yet, in the diplomacy of alien minds, the act carried different weight. They were entrusting one of their own, even if useless in their terms, to live among humanity. The consortium chose Jonas Hale, a linguist, biologist, and one of the few human men who had studied Zirith culture, for the honor of keeping Seraya. The human press called it a mockery. Jonas thought differently. He had seen the Zirith's faces when they spoke of their sterile women: pity, sorrow, resignation. To him, Seraya wasn't a bargaining chip. She was a person. When Seraya was delivered to him in a shimmering transport pod, she stood tall and expressionless, dressed in white veils. Her voice was melodic but sharp when she said, "You are my custodian. I am your burden. Do with me as you must." Jonas smiled gently. "No, you are my guest." And so began their strange life together. At first, their cohabitation was difficult. Seraya barely spoke, moving through Jonas's apartment like a phantom. She refused food, surviving only on nutrient spheres brought by her people. She sat by the window for hours, watching Earth's skies, whispering words in a language Jonas didn't understand. Yet Jonas was patient. He studied her habits, slowly offering her pieces of humanity. He cooked meals not just for himself but for her, leaving them on the table. He played music, old Earth symphonies and gentle guitar pieces. He spoke to her even when she didn't reply. One evening, as he strummed his guitar, he noticed Seraya's head tilt slightly, her eyes flickering. "You like this?" Jonas asked softly. Her voice for the first time held warmth. "It vibrates. The way our hearts do." It was the first crack in her wall. Over the following months, Seraya began to soften. She asked questions about Earth's oceans, about birds, about why humans painted their faces with color. She touched the rain for the first time and laughed like a child. She began eating Jonas's food, carefully at first, then eagerly. But Jonas also learned of her pain. One night, under a stormy sky, she confessed, "In my world, I am nothing. Our worth is in the children we bear. A sterile woman is like a song without a voice. They gave me away because I am silent." Jonas looked at her for a long time, then said, "Then let's find a new song." He began studying her biology in secret. Jonas was not only a linguist but also a biologist specializing in xenogenetics. If the Zirith declared her sterile, perhaps they had missed something, or perhaps humanity's crude but flexible science could find another way. He spent long nights in the lab, analyzing strands of her crystalline DNA, comparing it with Earth's gene sequences. The Zirith had perfected cloning and genetic purity, but they had limits. Humanity's gift was improvisation. Where the Zirith saw finality, Jonas saw possibility. Then one night he discovered it. Her sterility was not a natural defect but a deliberate intervention. The Zirith engineered sterile women to serve as attendants, ornaments, or in this case, diplomatic offerings. The flaw was artificial, a locked door in her genetic code. Jonas stared at the sequences on the screen, his heart racing. Could be undone. When he told Seraya, she trembled. You would restore me. Give me what my own people denied. Yes, Jonas whispered. But not because they expect you to bear children. Because you deserve the choice. For the first time, Seraya wept in his arms. The procedure was dangerous. Jonas used experimental biofusion techniques, weaving fragments of human stem cells into Seraya's alien framework. It was a symphony of science and desperation, one that could kill them both if it failed. And then, something extraordinary happened. Instead of restoring her fertility to match her people, Seraya's body adapted in an entirely new way. The fusion allowed her to produce life, but not as the Zereth did. She and Jonas became compatible in a way no scientist had predicted. Together they could create something new. Months later, when Seraya glowed with a soft, inner light, she whispered, I carry not just a child. I carry our child. Jonas stared stunned. Humanity and Zereth were not supposed to be genetically compatible. Yet within her, something impossibly beautiful was growing. Word spread quickly. At first, it was dismissed as rumor. Then the consortium sent envoys, demanding examination. When they confirmed the truth, the galaxy trembled. A sterile alien woman, gifted to a human man as an afterthought, was now the first mother of a hybrid future. Conflict. The news ignited chaos. Among the Zereth, the revelation was a scandal. To them, sterility was absolute. Restoration was heresy. To see a worthless woman not only healed but pregnant with hybrid life was an insult to their traditions. Factions of their society demanded Seraya's return to study, or to destroy what she carried. Among humans, reactions were mixed. Some saw Jonas and Seraya as pioneers, symbols of unity between species. Others feared what their child represented, a merging of DNA, a future where pure humanity might be diluted. Jonas received threats. Seraya received worse. They lived under constant guard, their faces on every broadcast. But through it all, Seraya's glow grew stronger. Her body was not weakening under the strain but thriving. The child was remaking her from within, turning her once sorrowful frame into something radiant. Wherever she walked, people whispered she was the most beautiful mother in the universe. Even Jonas sometimes found himself staring at her in awe, whispering, "You're not the woman they gave me. You're the woman you chose to become." Then came the crisis. The Zereth High Council declared the child an abomination. A fleet was dispatched to Earth with orders to seize Seraya. Humanity, still new to the galactic stage, could not risk open war. The consortium prepared to hand her over. Jonas refused. He fled with Seraya, using backwater spaceports and sympathetic smugglers. For weeks, they hid among stars, chased by warships, living in the narrow corridors of stolen freighters. Seraya's time grew short. Her glow brightened until she looked like a star contained in flesh. One night, as they hid near the rings of a frozen world, Seraya pressed Jonas's hand to her belly and whispered, "Even if they take me, promise me this. You will protect our child." Jonas's throat tightened. "No. I'll protect you both." The final confrontation came when the Zereth fleet cornered them near a dying red sun. Jonas had no weapons, no army. But Seraya did.